Shanti, what did you feel it connotes? Hanji? I'm the best. I'm a soul. I'm a peaceful soul. Okay. There can be an expansion of this term. That I, the peaceful soul, is communicating with you, the peaceful soul, even if I am not and you are not at this point of time, then as the potential of the peaceful soul to create an atmosphere of peace within us, and that can be shared by the rest of the society. Now, once you do that, then you have made a statement of purpose. And that statement of purpose can be carried on wherever you are. It could be my staff, it could be my clients, it could be co-professionals, it could be my family members. One of the things that we usually forget is that the people who are closest to us and the most time that we spend with them are the ones that we neglect the most. We take them for granted. And that's one of the keys of stress management. Now, if you were to start talking in terms of stress management for oneself, I need to remember 2 or 3 things. Just like we were discussing a few minutes back that soul, mind, body is a continuum, all 3 are required. Sometimes we get so caught up in saying, I am a peaceful soul, that you forget the body. I've seen that happen too. And sometimes you are so caught up in looking after the body that you forget that there is something inside which is experiencing it. So soul, mind, body medicine actually is just a confirmation of the fact that we require all 3 to be together, interacting with each other, so that we can create an experience for myself and for those who are others around me. It's just like I'm speaking into this mic. The mic needs to be there, or else my voice won't carry. But what I speak and how it gets turned into these rays of my speaking and then electrical currents and then a system by which it's get amplified to you is the mind. But ultimately what I'm going to be speaking and what I want to convey is the soul. So all 3 are required at all points of time. With about 100 billion cells in the brain, who are controlling about 100 trillion cells of the body, and each cell having its own intelligence, and each cell interacting with the other, there are processes at play which are so limitless that we can't even fathom the kind of processes that are taking place at all points of time within our system. But there is something that is controlling the system. You live in Agra, most of you, and I also know? Only 2 of you. Oh, you control the whole only from Agra. That's great.
This is all India. They're from Shillong, Trichy, everywhere.
Great.
This is full Foxy represented.
All right. So it is the whole body which is represented here. All right. Okay. So if you have any major city, if you have 4 cars at a red light, you have a traffic jam. Because each car wants to go first. But in the system that's there within me, each and every cell knows what is to be given to the other one and what is the purpose of that cell. The cell in the stomach doesn't say, I want to be in the brain. Like, many of us say, I want to change my car, I want to change my house, I want to change my body, I'm sick of it. But inside the system, they all accept themselves first. And they all accept the other. And they all work in coordination with each other with some very basic principles. I'm sure yesterday you may have heard sometime about the 5 vices, and one of the biggest one actually we are seeing in the world is greed. 1% of the population having more than 50% of the world's money at this point of time. Greed in our body shows as obesity. And each cell can only store and does store only for 3 seconds worth of fuel. Because it somewhere or the other believes that the universe will provide for it. We have lost that belief system. So if each and every cell can work in combination with each other, whatever is required, one cell is eliminating, other is digesting, the third one is circulating, the fourth one is absorbing the air, and just think that all of this did not exist at the time of conception. So each one started to become different to serve a purpose. Similarly, each one of us has a purpose. And as I said in the beginning, you have to find what your purpose is. Because unless you are not sure what your purpose is, there's going to be a problem in the continuum of energy. Either I will be too caught up in the body, or I'll be too caught up in the soul. And the combination which ultimately produces me, who is experiencing and who is giving something to the world, will not happen. But in this entire concept, I think medically also you can be very, very confident that if you were to say hierarchy, and in this case the hierarchy is necessary to realize that at what level we should make a change. You can keep on changing your body, you can become more muscular, but it will have not much effect as far as your mind is concerned. You can sharpen your skills and still it will not have much change as far as your soul is concerned. But if you start making a change at that level, and in that process you also realize that the body is necessary to be able to express the soul, then you will be able to make a change at all the 3 levels. So if we can, in this entire chain, understand that not only I focus on, and I keep coming back to the mother to be, but even to ourselves, then I will have processes by which I will look after my body, I look after the mental sharpness, and not only intellectually but also emotionally. And then I will be able to create some value systems and some techniques by which I can make a change at the level of the soul. And all this can be integrated to bring about one particular package. And that package is called a meditative lifestyle. We don't talk about meditation. In next about half an hour, I'll be having another presentation called Meditation as Medication. In hall number 3, there are some other doctors who have come from different parts of the country. So we are going to be talking to them as well. So if some of you are not too hungry and you want to join in, you're welcome. But in a meditative lifestyle, it is not only that I sit for 15 minutes and I think certain thoughts. That's required to be able to train the mind. I think Sister Shivani yesterday evening said, Dil to bachcha hai ji. So you have to keep talking to it every day. You have to keep puchkaroing it and whatever it is. So in that process, every day you have certain practices, whether it's called traffic control, whether it's called, there are some very, very specific techniques which we'll be talking in the next section, but basically how you can keep on checking the quality of your thought, which are a reflection of the energy level within. And once you're able to do that, slowly you will also start seeing that there are changes that are coming at the level of the mind and of the body. Many people who meditate may not have less illnesses, but their ability to handle those illnesses becomes better. Their ability to heal themselves become better. And that ultimately, somewhere, is the true proof of soul, mind, body medicine. Now, as I was saying, there are certain tools that can be there. Some of the tools I think are there. They are there, Shubda, in that booklet? They have been given. Okay. So you would have the tools. You would have certain techniques, which means how to apply those tools. And then you would have a package of it together, which each one of us has to see how best we can utilize it, and that becomes your lifestyle. So you go out from here, so you have the techniques, you have the tools, you want to create that lifestyle, but unless you are regular, unless you are persistent, unless you are patient. How long did it take us to pass medicine? 5 years. And then top it up with post-graduation, 3 years. And then maybe 20 years of experience before you could say, yes, I feel confident to be able to handle most of the gynecological or obstetric problems. So how much time are we giving to ourselves? Most? G? Okay. So how much time are we giving to ourselves? Okay. How much time are we giving to ourselves? I'll finish in 10 minutes. But I said, how much time are we giving to ourselves? So that's a question that each one of us needs to ask. And we need to ask, what am I doing on a day-to-day basis to be able to put that lifestyle so that it becomes personalized lifestyle. It comes naturally to me. Somebody wakes you up at 1 o'clock in the night that there is a lady who's come into the ward. You don't think twice, you don't go and refresh the book. It's there. You just jump in, it's instinctive. So some of these things need to become instinctive, and then only they start showing the changes. Recent years have some role that have been proven scientifically. Now when I say proven scientifically, in the last about 20 years, I have been given a role, I'm saying role, to try and see how I could probably integrate these psycho-spiritual aspects of medicine. And briefly in the end, I'm going to share a little about self. But when we make an intention to the universe, doors start opening. And in the same way, in the last about 10 to 15 years, I am seeing many professionals coming together to try and see the role of things like positive attitude, hope, laughter, love, purpose of life. And I will request you that you go back home today and use Google Auntie to try and see the number of scientific papers on these. There are journals which are dedicated to this. Because we were not taught in our medical school, because no pharmaceutical guy comes and gives me some pamphlets or a gift which says, please use value of simplicity, it will help you personally and maybe your clients. So because of that, I think that there is nothing that is there in the universe. But once you start looking, you start finding that double-blind studies are there. We were doing a chapter for meditation as medication in an international book, and I tried to look at it, and I found 10,500 studies on meditation from mainstream scientific journals. 831 of them were double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. I didn't know of it because we were never exposed to it. So these are some of the newer ways by which we are seeing that not only there is a change at the level of the mind, but there is a change at the level of the body itself. So prayers, meditation, connecting with God, now the so-called energy healing techniques are not only being seen as treatments or management, but there are definite health prevention, health promotion and disease prevention strategies. None of which incidentally we talk about. You know, one of the biggest grouse that I have today, and I'm using the word grouse, sometimes anger, I know that I'm also talking about anger management, is that as a profession, we have somewhere just forgotten that we are dealing with the society. We are caught up too much in individuals who come to me. I never go into the society. And I keep saying, oh, the numbers are rising, diabetics are rising, hypertensives are rising.